You've been told to love your weakness, to embrace it, forgive it, and live with it. But that lie has chained you to mediocrity. In this world, the weak are not comforted. They are conquered. Today, I will show you how to erase weakness itself, as Niccolò Machiavelli would have done, not with mercy, but with mastery. Every man is born with weakness, but the wise man learns to use it as a weapon. Weakness is not a disease. It's a signal that your mind has surrendered before the battle even began. I am Niccolo Machiavelli, and in my time, the weak were pawns, and the strong were kings. If you wish to rise above the masses of timid souls, then listen closely. I will teach you how to erase your weakness, not through emotion but through power, reason, and ruthless clarity. The greatest enemy you will ever face is not the world, not betrayal, not failure. It is you. The silent force that sabotages your potential sits behind your own eyes. It whispers comfort when you should suffer, justification when you should change, and self-pity when you should rise. Every man seeks to conquer others, but few dare to conquer themselves, for it requires a cruelty most cannot endure. The weak man hides behind illusions. He blames time, circumstance, and fate. The strong man destroys these illusions like a tyrant, cleansing his court of liars. This is the beginning of ruthless self-confrontation, the act of dragging your weakness into the light and watching it burn. You must dissect yourself as a strategist dissects an enemy. Ask not what comforts you, but what corrupts you. Where does your will collapse? Where do your excuses multiply? The moment you answer those questions honestly, you will feel a kind of pain that few can bear, because truth in its purest form humiliates. It exposes every fragment of your false greatness, every lie you have told to protect your ego. But understand this, without humiliation, there is no evolution. Every great man, every ruler, every thinker that rose above his age, began not with glory, but with disgust for his own weakness. To confront yourself ruthlessly is to perform an execution, not of the body but of identity. You must kill the man who clings to comfort, the one who makes excuses, the one who fears being judged. You must stand before the mirror, not to admire, but to accuse. Ask yourself, where have I betrayed my potential? Where have I chosen comfort over conquest? What weakness in me has ruled me like a king while I pretended to be its master? These questions are daggers, but they carve the shape of the man you are meant to become. The weak avoid this process because it is not gentle. It feels like war within the mind, where every justification, every false memory, and every lie you told yourself fights to survive. But you must crush them all. You must strip yourself to the raw truth, even if it means discovering that you have lived as a coward. Only when you admit your cowardice can you forge courage. Only when you face your weakness without defense can you build strength that cannot be taken. Do not seek validation in this process. The world will not applaud your inner war. They prefer the man who stays broken, predictable, and safe. But if you are to rise above them, you must exile your weakness. And exile is a lonely path. It requires silence, discipline, and an obsession with self-mastery. You will lose people, you will lose comfort, and you will lose the false image you built of yourself. But what you gain in return is clarity. A clarity so sharp that it cuts through every illusion society feeds you. Remember this, the man who cannot confront himself will always be a slave, not to rulers, but to his own nature. He will talk of ambition while surrendering to laziness. He will dream of greatness while fearing the discomfort that creates it. He will read about power, but never possess it. The art of ruthless self-confrontation is the art of rebirth. You must break yourself to rebuild yourself, colder, wiser, and untouchable. This is how you erase weakness at its source, by standing before your own darkness and refusing to look away. For the man who conquers himself cannot be conquered by anyone. Emotion is the invisible chain that keeps men enslaved to their own chaos. It promises authenticity, passion, and meaning, yet it robs the mind of clarity, poisons judgment, and exposes the soul to manipulation. The world praises those who feel deeply, but emotion, left unchecked, is the language of weakness. The strong do not react, they calculate. They observe the flame of emotion within and command it as a master commands a beast. To erase weakness, you must first assassinate your dependence on emotion. Understand this, emotion is a tool, not a compass. The weak man lets his emotions dictate his decisions. He loves too easily, trusts too quickly, and rages too blindly. He becomes a puppet to his own instincts, a man who bleeds power every time his mood shifts. The strong man, however, studies his emotions like a strategist, studies the battlefield. He does not deny them, he dissects them. He asks, what does this anger reveal? What does this fear protect? What does this desire seek to hide? In that questioning, he gains power not through denial but through control. To kill emotion does not mean to become lifeless. It means to rise above reaction. The weak feel, the wise respond. The difference is timing. When the masses are provoked, they speak before thinking. They seek validation through outrage. But the Machiavellian mind waits. He lets others exhaust themselves in emotional chaos, then moves calm, silent, precise. That is the art of control. For emotion is the fog of war, and the ruler who sees through it commands every field. The modern world has deceived you into believing that emotions make you authentic, but authenticity without discipline is just chaos with a mask. You must train your mind to feel without being ruled. When insulted, observe. When betrayed, analyze. When praised, remain suspicious. The weak crave emotional safety. The strong crave understanding. Control of emotion is not suppression. It is weaponization. When you can feel rage and still speak with calm, you terrify those who rely on reaction to manipulate you. When you can love without dependency, you dominate every relationship. When you can suffer without complaint, you become untouchable. Think of emotion as fire. In the hands of a fool, it burns everything. Friends, opportunities, reputation. In the hands of the wise, it forges iron, lights the path, and fuels creation. The difference lies in mastery. The ruler uses emotion as theater. He understands how to evoke loyalty through controlled warmth, fear through silence, admiration through restraint. He knows when to display feeling and when to hide it behind the mask of reason. This is not hypocrisy. This is strategy. For man is not ruled by truth, but by perception, and the one who commands perception rules emotion itself. To kill your emotion is to kill your vulnerability, because every manipulation, every defeat, every regret you've suffered began the moment you felt instead of thought. The world will tell you that emotion makes you human. But remember, humanity is not the same as power. Power belongs to those who can feel everything and show nothing. You must practice stillness in the storm, serenity in insult, composure in chaos. Train your mind to delay expression. For every second you wait, your control grows stronger and theirs weaker. Imagine this: a ruler sitting on his throne, as enemies shout, betray, and plot around him, yet his face never moves. They grow anxious, for they cannot read his heart. That is control. That is domination. The man who governs his emotions governs his world. So learn this law: emotion is a servant, not a sovereign. When it commands you, it destroys you. When you command it, it becomes your greatest weapon. Kill emotion not to lose your humanity, but to master it. For when your mind becomes colder than your heart, no one can control you. And in that coldness, you will find the purest form of strength, calm, deliberate, and absolute. Motivation is a mirage, bright, alluring, but vanishing the moment you reach for it. It seduces the weak with promises of endless energy and inspiration, but it abandons them the instant reality demands effort. Men who depend on motivation rise and fall with the moods of their own mind, slaves to the weather of emotion, incapable of consistency, allergic to discomfort. The strong, however, know a greater force: discipline. Discipline is the quiet god of power, the silent architect of empires, the invisible chain that binds chaos into order. It does not speak in passion, it speaks in duty. Motivation is born from pleasure. It thrives on excitement, novelty, reward. But discipline is born from pain, from the cold mornings, the dull repetitions, the unseen sacrifices that others avoid. The weak chase the spark of feeling. The strong build the fire of consistency. For the truth is this: nothing great is built when you feel like it. The world bows to those who act, especially when they don't. The disciplined man does not wait for a reason to act. He acts because it is necessary. He does not ask his body for permission, nor does he consult his emotions. He acts out of loyalty to his own command. This is how rulers are born, by mastering the art of obedience to oneself. You see, the undisciplined man is ruled by the present moment. He surrenders to hunger, to distraction, to comfort. But the disciplined man serves the future. His actions today are oaths to the man he intends to become tomorrow. Every repetition, every act of restraint, every moment of silence when the world screams for reaction. That is discipline sculpting the mind into stone. Motivation is a guest. It visits, it entertains, and then it leaves. Discipline is a king. It remains, it commands, it endures. The disciplined mind is terrifying because it cannot be manipulated. It does not bend under temptation, nor break under pressure. It works when tired, speaks with restraint, and moves with intention. It does not chase pleasure, it creates it through achievement. To live by discipline is to live as your own ruler. You become both master and servant, the master who commands, and the servant who obeys without hesitation. Most men fail, not because they lack dreams, but because they lack obedience to their own commands. They crave progress but refuse pain. They admire greatness but reject its price. Discipline demands payment every day, in effort, in patience, in consistency. And those who pay daily become unshakable. The disciplined man is feared because he cannot be predicted. When others rest, he builds. When others complain, he plans. When others seek comfort, he sharpens his mind. His strength is not in bursts of brilliance, but in unbroken persistence. He knows that time bends to those who move relentlessly. It is not talent that builds empires. It is the silent, repetitive act of discipline, day after day, long after motivation dies. The world romanticizes passion, yet every great conqueror, philosopher, and creator knew the truth. Passion fades, discipline endures. The artist who waits for inspiration will starve. The soldier who waits for courage will die. The thinker who waits for clarity will decay in indecision. But the disciplined man, he moves regardless. He acts through uncertainty, through exhaustion, through fear. He does not need to feel powerful to be powerful. His power lies in repetition, the ritual of self-command. To erase weakness, you must abandon the illusion that motivation will save you. It will not. It is fragile, emotional, and temporary. Build instead a code, a routine, so rigid it bends the mind into steel. Wake at the hour you promised. Work at the depth you vowed. Finish what you began. Each act of discipline is a strike against the soft flesh of weakness. Remember this law. Motivation creates moments. Discipline creates empires. The man who acts only when inspired will live and die as a follower. But the man who acts regardless of inspiration will one day look down upon the world, not as its servant, but as its master. Weakness is not only found within you, it thrives in others. And to erase weakness completely, you must learn to see it, study it, and use it. The final stage of power is not mastery of the self, it is mastery of human nature. To rule the world, you must first understand what rules mankind: fear, vanity, desire, and the need to belong. These are the invisible strings that move nations, armies, and hearts. The wise do not despise them, they manipulate them. This is strategic coldness, the art of remaining emotionally detached, while shaping the emotions of others. The weak man seeks fairness, the strong man studies behavior. He does not complain that the world is cruel. He observes why it must be. He knows that man is not guided by logic, but by appetite. He desires power, love, approval, and comfort. And when denied these, he reveals his true nature. To master human nature, you must become a silent observer of its patterns. Watch how quickly admiration turns to envy, how loyalty depends on benefit, how morality bends to convenience. Once you see this truth, you no longer take betrayal personally, nor loyalty as permanent. You begin to view people not as good or bad, but as predictable. Strategic coldness is not cruelty for its own sake. It is clarity, the ability to act without being poisoned by sentiment. When you understand that every man serves his own interest, you stop expecting loyalty where there is only advantage. You stop confusing affection with respect. You stop pleading for fairness from a world that has never been fair. This calm detachment is the highest form of intelligence, the ability to remain unmoved while others drown in their emotions. When others react, you calculate. When they panic, you plan. When they reveal their feelings, you conceal yours. This is not weakness. It is dominance through restraint. Consider this: the ruler who shows his heart invites rebellion. The strategist who reveals his plan invites sabotage. But the one who keeps both hidden commands all who surround him. To be cold is not to be heartless. It is to be immune. It is to see people as they are, not as you wish them to be. In this understanding lies ultimate power. You must train yourself to read the emotions of others, as a scholar reads texts, analyzing tone, posture, and reaction. The eyes of the ambitious flicker when they see opportunity. The loyal speak with hesitation when tempted. Study these signs, and you will control people without force. Manipulation, when rooted in understanding, becomes influence, and influence, used with precision, becomes control. But beware: strategic coldness demands discipline of the soul. It requires you to resist the urge to be understood, to be liked, to be praised. You must grow comfortable with being misunderstood, even hated, for power isolates those who see too clearly. Do not let pity cloud your logic, nor attachment cloud your purpose. The world is moved by perception, not truth. The ruler who understands this bends reality itself. Remember this law: emotion blinds, understanding liberates. The man who sees through human nature holds advantage over all who obey it blindly. He knows when to reward, when to deceive, when to appear kind, and when to appear cruel, not because he is moral or immoral, but because he understands that morality is merely a weapon for those who lack strength. Strategic coldness is not about destroying others. It is about mastering the rules of their nature before they master you. So learn this final art: to look upon the world with calm eyes, to speak less than you know, and to act with precision when others hesitate. Let your face reveal nothing, and your mind reveal everything. Be the storm behind the silence, the will beneath the mask, the power hidden in plain sight. For only through coldness can you truly see, and only by mastering human nature can you erase weakness from it forever.